What's going on, you guys? We are live. It is my favorite day of the week. It is Thor's Day. I love Thor's Day, and we've got a special guest with us today. You see that handsome Mexican up there. Check him out. Look at his shirt. Look at that smile. It's unbelievable. I'm so happy you're here, brother. I hope you guys are having a great week. I'm going to go ahead and kick it to my main man, Kenton. What's going on, Kenton?
Hey man, good. I was telling the guys earlier, listeners, I think we should skip our intro because there's probably a lot we got to talk about and go over.
Yes.
Maybe just a quick update for me on marketing side. Masari, I'm getting moving forward with getting the THORChain data in there. And so when you search by revenue, like if you type in top 20 protocols by revenue, I think THORChain comes in 9th or 10th. I forget, depending how it's measured. So, and I got to finish going through all the Masari, double check everything, make sure it's right. We're showing up or popping up, but we're getting there. It's almost done. And the website, the .org site, hopefully will be done. I'm hoping by the end of the month, maybe even next week. We'll see. It's just we're so close, but these like little design things keep going back and forth. It's like little things need to be fixed. And then, maybe I'll zip it there. And we all know Chad, but maybe we get Aaluxx to do a little quick intro of himself, say hi to the community.
Hey everyone, Aaluxx here, co-founder of Maya Protocol, also contributor to THORChain for some time now. And happy to be here.
Glad you're here. So the big news everyone wants to talk about is 9 Realms. I've had a bunch of DMs. I hear somebody typing. I don't know who that is. Denny. And people on Twitter, people on Discord, everyone has questions. What's going on? So I'm really glad, Aaluxx and Chad, you guys take the time there to talk to us in the community about it. And, I trust everything's okay. Maybe you can, I don't know which one of you guys want to start, but kind of maybe some people don't even know the news yet. And maybe just kind of recap what's going on.
Well, 9 Realms has been involved with THORChain for a while. During the development of THORChain, it kind of, during this adolescence period, it needed kind of some sort of grown-up accompaniment, and they did that job very well as stewards of THORChain for some while. THORChain has continued to develop and mature, and it's now ready to be a tad more decentralized also in the development and management process, as it already is on the actual chains and operations of it. So, 9 Realms has been great and developed a lot and done a lot. But I'm also excited of how this opens up a new chapter for many ecosystem contributors to also get more involved in the direction THORChain is going. So that's I guess my take. Chad, I'm not sure what you'd like to add.
Yeah, I think so. 9 Realms has been around for a long time. I don't know when it started really off the top of my mind. I remember I met Gavin was the one that started it. I think it was I want to say 2021, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And Gavin started it because he was just a big THORChad, right, initially. And he just loved what we were doing, loved the problem we were trying to solve, and wanted to help from a different perspective. So initially it started on the idea of doing institutional liquidity. Right, that was like the founding kind of notion, was that the 9 Realms wanted to play a role predominantly just trying to pull institutions into this kind of liquidity on THORChain. And that didn't end up working out so well, that particular thing, for numerous reasons, which we don't even necessarily dig it into. But like Gavin was just a positive person and just wanted to contribute in any ways possible. So they had raised funding to build this new company called 9 Realms, and they just wanted to contribute in any way, shape, or form that would be beneficial to the protocol. And over the years, like what they've been doing for a while is I think like 3 or 4 things primarily: development work, running infrastructure, some biz dev stuff, and then what was the other one? Oh, running nodes and like infrastructure and that kind of stuff. And we're now like kind of stepping back from them being running as much as what they were running. So the nodes, for example, the bond providers are going to be moving to other nodes out there, and kind of having just redistributing those people to a larger group of operators, which is kind of further decentralized in that particular context. Which nodes they go to is up to them. Like I don't have control over those people. They can do what the hell they want, right? So, but we'll be reaching out to them and giving them opportunities of contact information for individuals who run nodes as a service. The infrastructure thing is being like it's like running like public Thor node APIs, some dashboards, snapshots for like syncing up a node, like just kind of various miscellaneous things. A lot of that's being kind of moved over to Liquify. Some of that being moved over to the Maya team, helping out in this kind of context. The biz dev stuff, we got, we just have a new hire that's going full at it. So I'm really happy to get a fresh pair of eyes, breathe some new life into biz dev. Like I've been doing biz dev myself as well lately. I've probably done more biz dev like meetings and calls with other projects than I think NanoRams has probably done in the last 6 months or maybe even a year, possibly. It's like we're really like invigorating some new kind of lifeblood into that kind of aspect of the project. And the development side, like we haven't we had about 1.5 or 1.1 developers from Nine Realms working, which is predominantly Ursa. And then I think Apollo was spending maybe like 10% of his time working on THORChain related things. Ursa himself I'm so sorry to lose him. He's a great guy. I've known him for years. Just all around good character, strong worker. He's been working half time for the last, I don't know, I want to say a year or two. I'm not sure how long it's been going on, but in any case, like we have new hires already. We have more engineering talent coming into the protocol than there's exiting. And so I think, while it's not a good thing or a great thing that Nine Realms is leaving, we are already poised to have a smooth transition on all fronts, on nodes, on business development, on infrastructure, on development. All that's already been handled, and everything's been having a smooth process, over the next, was it 45 days, I think, until Nine Realms has their official exit. So obviously we're very appreciative of the contributions they've made over the past few years. Sorry to see them go in one sense, but also we're ready for it in another.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think one of the founding things we've always talked about, Chad, I mean, especially you, is, THORChain's development should never be centralized and contingent on one team, right? And so the ability for us to transition like this in a really harmless and seamless way is just, I think, a really bullish catalyst. Really cool. Aaluxx, I see you back, buddy. You want to check your mic? Make sure you're looking good over there.
Oh, good. Sorry about that.
Awesome.
Should be better.
Awesome. Don't worry about it, man. No, you're totally good. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Aaluxx?
No, I think those are the main points. Maya will also be a little bit more involved. We were already with TCY a little bit more inside THORChain, and that has only grown over time. One of the devs that Chad is mentioning that will be involved on THORnode comes from Maya. We're very happy to see him contribute to the father chain, and things looking good. I'm excited and hopeful, and ready to go with what this next chapter is.
I
The
am
father
too.
chain.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think this is. I've had some people reach out, questioning, wondering, is this bad? Is it good? What's going on? And like, from my I don't really, contrary to maybe what you guys, the listeners, might think, like I don't know all the inner workings of THORChain, what's going on. So a lot of stuff what Nine Realms is doing, I know as much as everyone else. And to be honest, like I didn't see them doing much over the the past year, and I was kind of wondering, questioning, how much is being done. And so I'm kind of looking forward to like maybe some new eyes and some fresh blood kind of going in and like reinvigorating things. Um and so like I'm and the my some of the my devs coming over, I'm like, you guys, it's a similar code base, right? So you can those devs hit the ground running. So I'm not worried about that. Liquify taking over these API endpoints, like that's great. Like obviously I'm biased to Liquify because I use them, with node operators, but they've been around for a while and they're doing a good job. So I feel pretty strongly they'll continue doing good for THORChain. So I'm not too worried about any of this. I think it's just a bit more of no one likes change, right? Change always is scary. But I think this could be good. Kind of just it's like some cold water on our face to like kind of refresh things.
Yeah.
Chad, you mentioned Randy, the business dev guy. Like those, I was on some of those calls, and these aren't rinky dink wallets with 20,000 downloads that they bought from India. Like we've been on some calls with some top blockchains and top wallets already. Just how long has he been around? For a few weeks, and we're like already.
Yeah, he's not been here long. I think he started this month, so it's been like basically like a little over 2 weeks. I've had meetings with, I'm not going to say which projects, but like top 50 coins. I'll say that. And I'm not promising anything. It's obviously early conversations. These conversations take months. It's a long process. But he's doing a good job. He's reinvigorating a lot of energy into it. He's a go-getter, right? He's working at, and he's very good at doing what he does. So, and I'm holding hands with him the whole process because he's new to the project. I'm obviously old to the project, and you kind of push together. We're kind of a good team or a combo, and we both do these meetings together, and we try to understand what the other project is doing and how we can be of service to them, or they can be of service to us, vice versa, whatever, mutual benefit or whatever. And we've been working together pretty well for the last couple of weeks and meeting with a bunch of different projects and wallets and whatnot. And I'm sure that's going to continue. We were actually talking about going to like the Bitcoin conference possibly. I'm not sure if that's happening quite yet. But or at least we're going to be going 2 conferences together, him and I, and just like roaming around and just talking to as many people, as many projects and teams as we can to just kind of like spread the Valhalla gospel,
I'll be in Miami for Consensus too. So hoping you both are there as well, and we can spread the word.
I might be there. Yeah. I applied to speak at that conference. They're not. I should hear back. I think next month when they're starting to like go through all the speakers or whatever. I think I'm going to talk about if they invite me to speak, which I don't know if that's the case or not. But I was thinking I was going to talk about like Huginn and just AI development because I think that's just a fun thing that like almost everybody wants to kind of hear about or know about, and that'll just bring a larger crowd to my talk or whatever. And then I would obviously plug THORChain in the beginning and kind of brag a little bit how good the project is, and then go on with the actual academic talk.
I think this is great. I think the synergy here, this is my feeling, right? Like in Kenton, I don't have necessarily a bird eyes view and all the internals and working, but I really feel like just on a team level, on a community level, there's just this powerful synergy here. We've got so many good people doing so many good things in many different directions, and it's coalescing into just a really unstoppable force. I really feel that. I'm not trying to just spread, bullish emptiness here. I really feel like we're really on a good run here. And it makes me so happy to see Maya devs, in dev Discord for THORChain, and it just feels right. Everything's feeling good, and I love the fact that you and Chad and Aaluxx are getting out there. You've always been out there, let's be real, but getting and talking to people, that's what we gotta do. We gotta spread the gospel of what we've built here. Because now I feel like we're ready. I feel like we've done the hard work. We've paid our toll in blood and sacrifice, figured out all the hard questions. It took a lot of work. We're there. It's time to ship. It's time to develop. It's time to promote ourselves because we've already delivered, right? I was going to say we need to deliver. We've already done that. We're going to keep shipping. We're going to keep delivering. The time's now. So this year's big. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think I put out a tweet recently because somebody was in a thread or whatever. But like I'm here, right? And I've come back full-fledged to the project, and I'm putting everything I got into this project again. And I'm trying to get as creative as I can, trying to allocate my time as effective as possible to contribute as most amount of value as I can to get this project moving in a great direction. And so, I'm still here. I'm still working hard. I'm fully dedicated, fully present. And I have no worries about, the future of us. No worries. That'd be not entirely true, but like you always have some worries to be concerned about and to avoid. But like, but I'm here and I'm fully present and I'm fully kind of pushing forward to get this project moving in as best of the position as I can. And I'm going to be allocating as much time as resources I have to achieving that goal.
Yeah. And you know, before, because you did mention the BTC conference, and I think, Kenton, maybe this is a good time to talk about so we don't forget, is, guys, we are planning a meetup for BTC Los. Oh, I should have the link on me. I'm sorry. I usually put that. I usually have the intro. Sorry about that. But we'll share it soon. But you guys, if you can go to BTC Las Vegas, please reach out. We have an RSVP that we're doing. Would love to meet you. We already have a good list of people that have already declared they're going. Let's get together, guys. I really feel like the needle moves forward when we all get to know each other, when we all get that human connection. I've met every man on this live stream in real life except Kenton, which will be changing in under 2 months. I am so unbelievably excited to do that. It's been a long time coming, but
you're gonna be disappointed. This is one giant smoke screen. I don't look like this in real life. I'm hiding.
Are you a lizard?
Face.
You're a lizard.
I'm
That's
a
what you're
lizard
saying.
person.
Oh no, we got a globalist, you guys. Oh no. We have a lizard man. Well, that's okay. I still owe you a steak dinner anyway, or we go shooting, whatever you want to do, buddy.
I want to shoot guns. You said I want to shoot I've always wanted to shoot a propane tank with a shotgun. We got to make that happen, man.
Okay.
So there you go.
I have never done that before, but I will get some.
You got to visit Aaluxx in Mexico for that one.
That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing a few days ago during the cartel revolts. He was the one that set the Costco on fire.
I was just practicing. It was target practice.
Which, by the way, everyone is perfectly safe there. I was actually there a couple weeks ago, and I was totally fine. The news is blowing out of proportion.
Good.
But yeah, I posted that link for the invite in the chat. So if you guys can RSVP. Actually, can I touch on that quick?
Yes.
So I've had some people troll me that is stupid, is dumb, a waste of money or whatever to do a meetup in Vegas. And so just want to walk you guys through it to kind of justify it. We need to rebuild morale, right? And, meeting people in person is always great. We get... our THORChans they're our salesmen, right? So if we get people that love THORChain going to the conference, they'll talk about THORChain to others. And if we can help build and foster that energy, right, in a meetup, it helps. And then also too, I got to start meeting people who are, switched on to THORChain so we can promote within, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't pay someone to like THORChain, right? It's just get Chad. You mentioned Gavin was a THORChad. He started 9 Realms. Coke was a THORChad. He's helping us with the videos now. I was a THORChad. I started a fund to run nodes. And now here I am, doing these podcasts. This is how we find the next wave of contributors to the protocol is through these meetups, these events. And I'd like to get to the point where they're getting bigger and they're fun. We have some notoriety. People are asking to be invited, and we get people from other communities that come and they want to come and meet everybody and have fun and whatnot. And so it's really good networking. And so there's a reason all these other projects do it. Is it's the networking is fantastic, and we got to start somewhere. We got to start doing it. And I promise you guys, I'm not spending a ton of money on this. It's going to be cheap. I'm paying for my own flight to get there. I'm not charging the marketing fund. We'll start small and build our way up. But it's
we should never apologize for fostering a community. I mean, that's just that's a ludicrous stance to have. If somebody's giving you a hard time about this, or whatever, I don't know, the amount of money we'd be spending on this meetup is pretty trivial. It's the value we get out of it is far higher than what we invested to it. That's pretty obvious to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, at this rate, there's only 5 of us going. So,
hey, still fun.
Yeah. Well, it's also good market research to kind of see how many people are we in touch with. How many people? Because so if we do want to do a real side event, we'll have an idea for the size, right? Because get a venue and make reservations, all that kind of stuff. So, it's a good place to start. And guys, if you're gonna be in Vegas, please come. It'd be great to meet you. Bring whoever you want. More people, the better. So,
I'm gonna try and bring some girls. I got a few girls I know that Las Vegas. So
There you
Well,
go.
not
Some
paid
Thor,
girls.
some
Yeah,
Thor
not-
chicks.
no,
Yeah,
no,
so
they'll
not
come.
working
They'll come
girls.
free.
Yeah.
My charm is all I need to pay them with, buddy. That's it. Don't worry. There's no money involved, Kenton.
You can't pay somebody to be a THORChain, but you
Yeah,
can pay
exactly.
somebody to come with you
She's
to a THORChain
yeah.
event.
I'm gonna see.
We
She's
can
a,
pay
she's
them
a,
to love Denny, but we can't pay him to love THORChain.
well, she's a business owner, so we'll see if I can get her to come. I'm thinking long term, like you get people like maybe primitives like Mocha or Bior Labs or something. Like I really want them to get in touch with what's possible because we're not quite there. I think we're early, but these days are coming. So I just I'll do anything I can to spread the awareness. And the people who are giving you a hard time about this meetup, Kenton, we will duct tape them to the propane tank that we blow up. Okay, this is ridiculous.
Look, no violence, please.
Denny,
No violence.
You sound more Mexican than me, Denny.
Buddy, cool. Well, guys, all right, go ahead.
I've got a list of questions that maybe I think the average THORChain would have. I guess so. Like, what's going on with JP? Is he still involved? Is he kind of stepping back? Is he?
Yeah. JP is stepping back a bit, unrelating to Nine Realms and all that stuff, but like JP, it's similar to me. Like over a year ago, he's going through a very rough time in his life. I'm obviously not going to go into more detail than that, and I totally understand what is going on, and my heart goes out to him. I think he just needs a break. He's been working on this project nonstop since 2018, technically, right? So he's been around for a super long time, and I can totally understand just needing like a breather. I suspect he'd come back one day. I don't know that for sure. It's up to him, of course. But yeah, he took a step back just to kind of take a breath.
Okay, so we can kind of view Chad and Aaluxx. You guys are like, you're our fearless leaders now. You're kind of not that. JP might come back one day, but for now, you guys are kind of directing the ship.
Yeah, I'm happy to step up and play a bigger role. I've been actually wanting to do that for a while, but just circumstances weren't great for that at that particular time. So I'm actually excited to take into that role and like really push hard on this project and get things shipping, get things moving, get some forward momentum, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I think like in my mind, like people always, I feel like would say, JP has too much control on this and that. And I'm like, well, he might have a lot of influence, but functionally, I don't know that he has.
Yeah, functionally, he's been stepping back from the project he's been engaged for a long time for obvious reasons, but like he's been offloading a lot of his roles and responsibilities or things that he was maintaining or managing. Like in the early days, he was really like a lot of his time was just like on investment business and that kind of thing, in like the 2019, 2020 days. But like a lot of that investment stuff is kind of already been here and gone, right? The people who originally invested into the treasury, for example, I'm pretty sure they're all not gone, but like they got their tokens that they wanted, whatever. So he's been he helped build the Twitter account, for example, right? And he offloaded that Twitter account to some interns, a couple of years ago or whatever. Like he's been stepping back slightly over time just to let the community take over certain aspects and things that he was building or maintaining, so his engagement has been slowing down in a positive way over years to become a more decentralized, thing in some sense.
And Denny, you mentioned this the other day, I think, when actually talking about Cal leaving, is that like, this is the point of a decentralized network is like, it's not reliant on any one person or one group that like, even the founder can step back. Everything keeps humming, keeps ticking. Even Nine Realms can step back. Everything keeps going. We don't, we can just, other people can come in and whatnot, but the protocol itself keeps functioning. Blocks keep getting produced. So it's just kind of like the natural evolution of things that change is inevitable. So, okay, cool. Well then, kind we went over nine realms a bit. Are you still looking for more devs to hire to help replace?
I mean, I would love to have more devs. It's just a question of budget more than any other reason, to be honest with you. That's something for the treasury to kind of, think about all that kind of stuff. I've been in conversation with other people. Like there was a guy I was talking to on one of our our merge requests for BitTensor, asking if he'd be interested, right? This is like a couple weeks ago, whatever it was. Yeah, so I think I'm always open to new talent, and if there's somebody that comes by that is like would be an amazing fit for the project, like I think I'd push the treasury to hire that individual, and, and all that kind of stuff. So, but I think we're good for right now, to be honest with you. Like, we're not like, we have everything we need, to be honest. We
Yeah.
got a chainnet team, we got multiple devs on the THORnet side. We have 70, I think 70 PRs merged for 317, right? Like, we're getting a lot of things like done. Things are getting shipped. We just enabled rapid swaps, earlier today. That just flipped on. We got memos outbounds probably gonna be flipped on probably next week. We got Solana just rolling out. We're increasing the pool size there. We got Zcash coming out. I mean, there's a lot of things happening, and we're able to do all that with the team we have now. You can even exclude the 9realms people, and we still have the team needed to achieve accomplish all those things. So it's always good to be on a lookout for new talent, because when new talent shows up, you have to snatch it before somebody else does. But we don't really. There's not like a gaping hole that we need to fill right now.
So can I interject real quick? Because that was actually a question a community member wanted me to ask on the show, was the whole BitSensor integration. So he wanted to know what was looking at that. So apparently the integration was good because you want to hire the guy. So is that a fair statement?
Well, to be honest, I haven't even reviewed that code. So to be fair, to the situation, anybody who's actively trying to contribute to this code base signals that they have an interest in working with this project, that they like this project, and that they want to work with it. And that to me is a green flag that they have at least, starting position, have a good mentality. Obviously, have to review their skill sets, and what their skill sets warrant the salary that they might collect or whatever. But like I just, when somebody comments on a merge request that's not part of our development team, like I'll probably just poke the person, are you interested in working? And then we can have an actual conversation about if their skills would be valuable here or not, or whatever.
Perfect. Kenton, I'll kick it back to you since you were going through this.
I'll add to this BitTensor thing. So like, bringing it back to Randy, I told him he's gonna be my new BFF. We're gonna be, working together and doing stuff. And I told him about, the community is hot on BitTensor, Tau, getting the pool. And so I'm like, well, can you reach out to them? Maybe we can get a grant and they would seed the pool or help pay for development. So he's looking into that. So far, I think he's not sure about grants, but he's going to try. He's going to try and talk to the foundation, see if he can get in there. Maybe they don't do a grant, but maybe they have some devs that can help our devs, whatever, right? But I'm listening to the community. We got some background noise. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, Alex, I think you got like a fan or something. Or I don't know what that sound is.
Okay. Anyway, just to kind of highlight my new BFF, Randy. Like he's already on it. He's I'm giving him ideas and he's running with it. So so we'll see you guys about Tau. Yep. See how it goes.
Yeah, and I was talking with the chainnet team about Tau earlier on Wednesday, I think yesterday, and I think the intention here is to generalize this implementation. I think it can be reused for like a bunch of different like substrates, like Polkadot, for example, and so we might generalize this thing to sorry, getting a phone call. Generalize it so that we can reuse this code base for any kind of substrate based integration we want to make.
Nice. Like do you mean like any chain, or is this a certain type of chain that can
certain type, like you have like EVM chains like Ethereum, you have like UTXO, which is like a big chain, like Bitcoin, and you got like Substrate, which is like kind of like the Polkadot universe, and then you have Cosmos chains like THORChain and everything else. Like this is kind of like little like universes, and once you get one of those chains in that universe, like to do the other ones becomes kind of low hanging fruit that you can just kind of easily just kind of copy and paste and clone over. And then there's like chains that are like very unique, that are not like anything else out there, and that's kind of like a one-time shot deal. And that would be like Solana would be probably a good example of that. Ton has a very fascinating and odd way of doing a lot of different things that adds a lot of complexity to how we integrate with them. Sui's probably the same, I would presume.
Cool. Got it. I'm gonna keep going down my list, guys.
Yeah, keep going.
Make sure my unless my question is in the right order, so that makes sense. Um, you mentioned the nine realms nodes and bond providers, so it should be, in theory, the BP should stay. They should, if they're still bond providing now, they should continue to want to bond provide later. They just need a new node operator, so that makes sense.
Mhm.
But what about nine realms themselves? Like as the group or entity, like did they own Rune, and are they gonna start selling it? Or do you know how much they have? Can there be no TC deal if there's anything like that can happen? Like, do we have to worry about nine realms dumping Rune on us, basically?
I do know they have some. I'm not going to reveal like the amounts or anything like this. I don't want to dox them in that kind of way. To me, it's not an amount that's large enough that would create any kind of significant change in the price, right? Like if they were to dump it all right now and just do like a streaming swap out of it into Bitcoin or something else, then like you probably wouldn't even notice it in the price, to be honest.
And it's not like this is an ex-girlfriend who hates her guts throwing her clothes off the balcony. Like it's, they, if they want to exit the position, they'll do it, gently, without affecting the price, right? Like there's no reason.
Well,
for them to
yeah,
dump
I
the
think
price.
like it's the way for them to do that is to do a streaming swap. And if you do it in a streaming swap, you do it over some period of time, whatever period of time that is. And it's not going to be, in my opinion, it's not going to be enough to actually change the price anything more than what you just normally see in the day-to-day just fluctuations of Rune's price.
Yeah.
And in any case,
Aaluxx, did you?
It's a smooth thing. Like Nairam is stepping out in good terms. Everybody involved with the project are still going to be contributors in some way or part of the community, or still holding THORChain close in their hearts. Like it's not a like dumping the table out kind of thing. So yeah, people sometimes extrapolate things too much. This is somebody that took the brunt of a lot of heat for already 3-4 years now, since 2021 and those hacks. And they, it's very daunting. It's heavy to have that responsibility on your shoulders. And they're saying, now we want to transition out and pass the baton to the next guy, so pass on the torch. So yeah, it's they have a position. I will agree with Chad. It's not really significant or of a size that would affect anything. They're welcome to stay on the position. It's their capital. They're welcome to exit it over time. But I don't think it's even relevant for the strategic direction of THORChain whatsoever.
Gotcha. So then, okay, passing the baton. Let's go with this. Keep going with that. The dev fund, the 5%, going to nine realms. Where is that going to go to? Who's taking that over?
So an ADR has to be created on that. I guess that will happen in the next few weeks. One thing that Chad and I had thought is there is a continued development of THORChain is what should exist. So having this kind of dev fund go to a treasury, operating treasury that also goes out and carries out the development. But instead of being one entity like it used to be with Nine Realms, maybe this fund can have a little bit more ecosystem players in there. So that's kind of where our minds were going this way. It's kind of, again, less centralized. We're moving away from this into progressively more and more and more distributed development. So I think it's a natural step on that front. Not sure if you'd like to add something more, Chad.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two ways of going at this. So you're right that we have to get an ADR together that moves in place, and it's not up to me, and it's not up to Aaluxx about where that actually goes to. That's up to the community, right? Up to the validators to vote in the direction they want to go. The two choices that I see that the community kind of can vote on and decide which way to go is, one way is to send it into the treasury, right? And the treasury is used now to pay a bunch of money every month to, my salary and other dev salaries and dashboards and liquefied running dashboards and like all these things. That's one way to go at it. There's been some conversation about that within the community. I know I've had a couple of kind of quick little conversations with random people about like, if that money is going into the treasury, what does that mean about how the treasury is spending that money? Like right now the treasury is a private fund and privately funded, and there's a good amount of transparency about how that money is spent, and to some degree, and when everybody knows what the addresses are, and you can look on chain to see where that money is and how it's going or whatever. But then there's the conversations like, if the money does go to treasury, does that mean that the relationship of how the treasury is with the community, does that need to change, or does it or stay the same? Like, I don't know. That's a conversation that the community can be having. The second way of approaching that is that as the technical kind of like lead of the project, it can go into a wallet that I control. That I have a wallet now that I've been using for a little while to pay people some money or whatever, some devs or whatever. And that could go into that wallet, and that would be just allocated for paying devs and their dev salaries, right? It's not enough money to pay all of the devs their dev salaries, because there's more salaries than what that 5% of the dev fund makes to actually pay for everybody their salaries. But that would at least give a separation between the dev fund going to pay for devs, or the dev fund going to pay for the treasury, which the treasury pays devs plus infrastructure plus this plus that plus this plus that, or whatever that is, right? And so that's a conversation the community should be having over the next couple of weeks to decide, collectively what we think is the best way to go at it. I'm not going to push my weight on this topic quite yet. I want to let the community, mingle over this idea and debate, and on our discords or whatever, and have that conversation. But in the end, it's up to the validators to decide how they want to move that fund.
I think that'd be probably the main sticking point, that if the dev fund does go to the treasury, then do the nodes then have some more say over the treasury? And is it better to keep the treasury separate and isolated from the nodes? Aaluxx,
and it doesn't even really need to be the same treasury. It can be like a new treasury or distributed wallet with the same or different members. And that definitely, I agree with you. Where that 5% is going should be completely transparent to the community and the nodes. And nodes should have a say on, maybe this is too expensive, maybe this is too cheap, maybe you should get this expense going on as well. So I think that will start to open more those types of conversations, which I think is good. And looking into how the development process operates, I think there's a lot of room for improvement. Things have been managed some way for a while now, and having this fresh blood and new beginning, I think it's also great for posing some questions. Should we keep doing this? Is there a cheaper way to do that? Like just an easy win, for example. Maya will likely end up running StageNet for THORChain in a bare metal setup, because a StageNet doesn't need 100% uptime. StageNet is, you go in, you test, and then if it has some a little bit of downtime, it's not a problem really. It's a StageNet. It's for staging tests. So why are we running it in AWS that costs dozens of thousands of dollars a month? Which of course is a drag on any setup you have. It'd be Defn, be Treasury, be whatever. It's money you have to pay. So that's just one example, but there's countless others. For example, another one is GitLab. You can try and get a grant, or not a grant, like a wave from GitLab if you're an open source project. We're gonna try. We have that for Maya. We're gonna try and have these for THORChain too, et cetera, et cetera. There's many rooms, a lot of room for improvement. And that's a lot of the process to get less money out. But then on the other end of things also is some more money in. There's the TCY of the treasury probably will be eventually staked. The nodes it delegates to should have some of the money go back to the treasury. I also don't know why THORChain has never applied for grants. There was like an informal one with Monero that didn't really happen. But beyond that, not a lot. Maya.
Can I stop you for a sec, Aaluxx?
Yeah, go ahead.
So can I interrupt you? What do you mean about the nodes, the treasuries not getting any money for? Can you?
So the treasury over time has decided to delegate, be a bond provider to ecosystem participants in exchange for some service. It does it at its discretion, and it's kind of a way to rent a contributor in the sense that the treasury decentralizes the network by having more participants validate for the chain, and instead of paying them for a salary, they're keeping the node rewards of that node. I believe that's a good model, but it shouldn't be 100%. Maybe 50% of the
So
node rewards.
their node operator fee is set to 100%. So
Correct.
the operator gets
Correct.
all of the rewards, and the treasury doesn't get anything. You just keep your principal, and that's it.
Correct.
Okay.
I
You want
believe
to
that
change that.
I'm suggesting we will see what happens. It's not up to me, only to me. But I would say there's some opportunities to decrease the money out, increase the money in, and thus make THORChain more viable in its development for the next 5 decades, and with a bigger team and more investment in the things we want to do. And all of that takes just responsible management of its funds. So that's something I would personally be a little bit more involved in as well, and try and make that happen.
And I interrupted you. I'm sorry. You were talking about grants. I believe when I interrupted you.
So actually, this is one of the ways that Maya has remained viable for a while. We clearly have less volume than THORChain. We cannot rely exclusively on our dev fund, which is the Maya token. So what do you do then? And of course, there's running nodes. There's doing all sorts of things. But one very important way is Maya will, when we're going to integrate a chain, we go out and ask the chain, hey, how valuable is this to you? Would you like to support the development process? Would you like to add the CLP? Would you like to subsidize part of what this is going to cost? And most times they say yes. So we got a grant from Cardano. We're getting a retroactive grant for Zcash. In the case of other chains, they have said, no, I don't want to pay it, but I have the devs to do it. I'm going to develop it myself. Great. So now we don't lose time and spend the dev time and efforts and money on that. So that's kind of a key way that I'll actually be meeting with Randy soon to that end, on how can we send out these proposals to many chains. And of course, they have to make sense. They have to be chains that we want because of their volume, users, daily activity, market cap, openness to decentralization, amount of wallets, all of those good old stats. But when weighing different chains to add next, key principle is, are these guys willing to foot part of the bill or not? And that should be a big reason why we end up deciding between two relatively similar chains. Well, these guys are willing to subsidize the development. Let's go with them. And that way you're not paying for everything that it takes. It takes a lot, guys, to integrate a chain safely and in a decentralized way. It takes a lot. And it's why there aren't many protocols doing this crazy thing of cross-chain swaps out there. It's a tough nut to crack. And if we can get these chains to subsidize part of the development, it's an obvious thing to consider.
That's all great, man. Like when you say all that stuff out loud, I'm like, why wasn't this done 5 years ago? So it's like it's nice. I mean, hindsight's 2020, and you can always kind of point fingers at people, but it's at least it's being done now. Great to see you come in and with all these ideas and try to do this stuff. So this is great.
One thing is abundance is bad. It makes you be slower. And one of the key things in Maya is we've always faced scarcity. We've always been in a bear. We've always been in the minimum amount of things. We launch very fairly, and we're a dev team in Mexico. It's so we've always operated with this scarcity mindset, and that leads you to be creative. I like to call it creative scarcity. When you have scarcity but hope together, that becomes this kind of like energy for creativity and ways to do things differently. And I think that's one of the key things we can bring to the table. THORChain doesn't have scarcity, but it should operate as if it did, because then is when you really create something that's sustainable for, the ages. And that's what we should be working on here.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I don't know, Chad, I know you've been super busy, especially with like the rabbit swaps thing and all that jazz, but we did do a live stream with the Xano guys, and I've actually been doing a lot of spaces with them on the side. Shout out to Dash, Joel. And I've got a good relationship to them. They are a fork of CryptoNote. And
Okay.
Kenton and I talked to them for a while, and they're releasing something called gateway addresses. I don't know if anyone's talked to you about this yet, but it basically makes the integration into a DEX much simpler. Forecasted to come out in 2 to 3 months, but super solid community. And they already said, Kenton, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they said, they'd be more than happy to contribute dev resources, whatever needed to help get a chain client going.
Yeah.
And their community reminds me of the passion of kind of like Luna. Like the cool thing about Luna, what happened on THORChain, like we had so much swap volume because the community was so freaking down to have Luna available for a decentralized thing. So I just want to put that in your ear. Super awesome community, and they share our ethos 100%.
And they said they'd provide liquidity.
Yes.
So like, I don't know if, to be frank, I don't know what their treasury is like. I don't know if they'd actually pay us, but they'd probably do as much for free as they could. Like help everyone write the code, give liquidity. I think I was actually thinking about them like Dash. Like I was really, I feel like THORChain kind of fumbled. We should have integrated Dash because their community was engaged, and that's how I see like Xano. Like their community is engaged, and it's one thing to add new chains, but when we add new communities who then become our fans and they go sell THORChain for us, they talk about it. This is great. This is awesome. Like you can't pay for that, And when we find them yeah, go ahead.
Interestingly, the grant process helps with the community building, because during the grant, we're out there explaining, getting that proposal on, you start getting some stakeholders involved and invested, and that, gets some connection with their community. But then once they actually pay for it, now these guys, whoever, let's say it's the Solana Foundation, now these guys have a cost. Now they have an incentive to actually make that investment worth it. So they will actually help co-opt you with their community. So, it's one of those things that's counterintuitive. Because they're paying, they're actually wanting to bring their community even more, which is great. And of course, we should also be doing a big effort in, reaching out to them, in welcoming them, in keeping our culture toxic free, and, friendly. We are the glue of crypto. We should be a very friendly glue. So we should work on that. It's also why I suggested, having to bifurcate the dev Discord into the dev Discord and the other Discord we have for like the open community. That's something I suggested, and it did happen, and it's great because that other Discord can be much more open to anyone that comes and joins. So that's a key thing. We should be somebody that's great to hang out with, because then people stick around.
100%.
Yeah, years ago, I remember coming up with a overly simple mathematical kind of equation on this topic. Like, I've always thought, like, if you thought about how much trade volume is this coin, right? Or market cap, could go by either. Trade volume is probably a better metric to use. On a 1 to 10 scale, like how good is it? Like 10 being Bitcoin and 1 being, barely existent. And then you have another one where it is like, how engaged are they with the protocol, right? Is it a 0, meaning they don't even know that it's happening, and there's no cross chain anything, there's no liquidity providing, there's nothing? Or is it a 10 where Luna was kind of like a 10 in this way, that they were engaged. We were going to have them integrate with their wallets directly into THORChain and their DEXs or like other kind of DeFi applications, and plus like adding liquidity, that would be like a 10. And you take these two like numbers, 0s to 10s on both sides, you just multiply them together, and that gives you some sort of like general idea of like how valuable this chain would be to add to like THORChain as a chain. And I think people underestimate this side of the equation, meaning the cooperation aspect to it, and people are more focused on, or overly focused on, how much trade volume or what the market cap is of the token. And it's so many times we've added chains and we get almost very little volume from it. Just didn't because nobody knows that we even support that particular asset or chain, a lot of the times. And so I'm more interested in adding somebody that's a smaller market cap asset, but is highly engaged with the protocol than I am with adding the next, Polygon or something that's very, very large market cap system.
I would argue that's pretty much Xano, because Kenton can back me up on this. They made the effort already to make gateway addresses. Crypto Note, they made because we asked them a question like, well, how do you buy Xano? And this guy who's like got 50,000 followers on X is like, well, you can use MXC or Cake Wallet. You have like their answer wasn't clear, right? They did not have a clue to such a simple question. How do you buy Xano? And they didn't want it. So and them making the gateway addresses before talking to us shows that they're thinking ahead. Like this is what they want, right? They want to be integrated. They want to give their customers a way to buy Xano. And so I do think this is an opportunity here for sure. I just got a good feeling about it for the same reasons that you alluded to, Chad.
And if their devs are engaged, like they could be working on Xano in parallel to another token being added to THORChain, right? Like it doesn't necessarily need to be an either or. We can have multiple tokens being worked on at the same time being added to THORChain, right? So I'm glad you brought that up, Chad, about how to pick it, because this is I've noticed this conversation has picked up in the community about who's deciding what chains and how they're getting on, and how do we decide on like Toncoin and Cardano and whatever. And I remember in the past when we only had I think we had 5. THORChain started with 5 chains and was like, what's the 6th we were going to add? And I think it went to a node vote. And I'm curious, like, should we kind of reinstate that where nodes vote on what chains they want to see added next?
Yeah, we could do it that way. To be honest, I would recommend not doing that way. And the reason why I say that is because it's not just about what chains you like, right? It's more complicated than I might want to add a chain to the protocol that I think that chain is stupid, right? Like I have no interest in that chain personally, but that's not my bias. Feelings about that chain has nothing to do with whether they add it or not add it or whatever. And there's a lot more than what meets the eye. Like part of it is like who we can actually make a contact with, right, from a business development side, and if they're willing to engage in that sense. And it's also like the technical complexity of adding this chain. It could be really low hanging fruit. It could be highly expensive technically, like XMR would be very expensive, for example. So there's too many kind of attributes or complexities to it for a node vote, because most node owners probably don't deeply understand these things well enough to be able to make an informed decision about these things. So the better way of going at it, in my opinion, is we switch the protocol to being an opt-in chain security kind of model, where we can just like release a new chain. Let's call it like Solana, for example, right? And then if nodes want to add it, then go ahead and add it. And if you don't want to add it, then don't go ahead and add it. And that way, like, your nodes are voting in effect because they get to choose which chains they want to add or support, or which ones they don't want to support. And so it does come down to a node vote, like, in the end. But to get everybody to like a 67% kind of agreement on whatever the next chain is, that's going to be an extremely hard thing to do, because some people are going to say it should be Monero, and some people are going to say it should be Zcash, and some people are going to say it's going to be Xano or Zano, whatever how you pronounce it. Like it's just there's too many opinions, and there's so the cleanest way to do it is really for the team to decide which is the next chain to be worked on from a technical and business perspective, to offer these up as efficiently as fast as possible to our community to adopt whatever chains we want to adopt. And then we just roll them out as fast as we can, and then nodes just kind of adopt whichever ones they want to add.
And also, like, the dev team is not the only one doing this. Xano can go ahead and do the development themselves. It's all open source. It's very clear how to do it. Or somebody can run a parallel dev team and say, I really believe we should add Polygon, and we're going to do the work and propose it to the nodes. Like, the dev team is not the sole kind of force that will guide this, but there has to be some direction, else you're running like a chicken without a head. Direction is so important to a blockchain. In the end, what the nodes are is like a senate, but you need some executive direction too. Else it doesn't work. You're just frozen. And that's something that needs to be avoided at all costs.
Yeah, decentralization is great for security. It's awful for governance. Is it? I know THORChain is a beast. It takes, for someone new to it, takes some time to get used to the code base and understand it. What about for like adding a new chain? Can somebody off the street come on and learn THORChain quick enough that they can just, you mentioned Polygon, Aaluxx, someone can just come in, do Polygon, get it done, and then leave? Like, can we have like part-time or contract or, whatever type devs add these chains for us? Is that possible?
It's a little bit complicated because there's a few things. One is I've been working with the Chainet team to help build some AI skills to build chain clients so that you can more easily and more effectively build chain clients with AI doing, almost all the heavy lifting in one sense. That's one thing to make it easier to build new chain clients and faster to build new chain clients. The second thing is just building the chain client itself is actually not enough. You have to maintain that chain client, right? And so when there's some sort of bug where a swap gets stuck, right? We for some reason we can't. We ran into this with Tron recently, where we sent some Tron to some wallet address, and the wallet address just rejected the Tron being sent to it entirely, and so the funds just got basically stuck in THORChain in effect. And sometimes there are unique things about these chains that can make it, not so smooth, and we need somebody on who will maintain that chain client for as long as the protocol is servicing that particular chain. So having somebody come in and just like write a chain client and then like dump it on us and then like walk away is not it's generally not like the best outcome. And furthermore, like you have to merge this stuff into our kind of our mainnet branch on GitLab. And so whatever change that somebody else wants to make to add a new chain like Polygon, whatever, even though Polygon's actually already merged and it's already in the code base, but it has to go through code review with our devs for our devs to look at and say, make sure that the implementation is correct and it's not some massive exploit that could cause, funds to be lost or something like this, in that sense. So it is multifaceted. It is complicated. It is open source to Aaluxx's point, and anybody can help contribute who they want to, but we also have to maintain a code quality. We also have to be, maintain that code base onto the future. We have to maintain the node launcher stuff, the Helm charts, the infrastructure side as well. And when a new version of that chain comes out, we have to release that to the community, and that takes time and energy and money and attention from us, even though I'm gonna be working on Huginn to work on that for us and hopefully in the near future. But like that takes time out of our schedule as well. So it's very complicated how this all kind of comes together, and it's not as simple and clean as we'd like it to be. But we're obviously going to be doing the best we can to add and support these chains as fast and as quick and as safe as possible, which is why we have a dedicated Chainnet team entirely.
And that team, like that's Star Squid and someone else, right? And they're not a part of Nine Realms. They're separate. They're staying with THORChain. Everything's fine. They continue. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Yep. That makes sense.
Yep.
So I'm curious, and kind of going back to Aaluxx earlier saying about all these opportunities to try and save money and perhaps even make money. That could create like a really huge surplus for the treasury. I know I agree with you guys. You want to run a tight ship, but at the same time, like this is bear market. Bear market's for building. This is the time people should be investing. This is when we buy. This is time to be investing in THORChain. So if you can find some of that surplus, that extra cash under the couch cushions, do you think that could be enough to get Chad another developer or even two to kind of bring forward all these features, everything that we want to build, instead of waiting for them to be done for 2 years, get them done now?
So do note, any team of more than 2 people, every person you add has diminishing returns. Because every person you add needs to coordinate with the people that were there before them. So some people say, oh, we're 10 people, let's add 2 more, we'll go 20% faster. It probably will be 5 or 10%, especially because, okay, let's say we do more codes, more PRs. Well, that means we need also more reviews. Do we have experienced senior people that can do reviews? Well, these senior people is Chad and it's Sam now and Maya and a few more people. It's very few people to do reviews. So, okay, let's say you reviewed when we need people to merge and test it. So it's not like just adding one person, magically you go faster. And even if you go faster in one side of the pipeline, you need to also increase the rest of the pipeline. So it's not effective. So it's either you kind of like double everything, or it's really not worth it to just hire marginally at all. In the case of the recent hires, it was to kind of backstop things that we did identify were limiting factors, but that's been addressed already. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, yes, bears are for building and for the greedy teams that develop, but we should never lose sight that one of the key things is this will not be the first or last bear market. We need to be around for many more of these. And that's something that the treasury should take into account as well. Yes, people are short-term oriented at times, and they want, the best kind of like smack as possible right now, tomorrow, to kind of move up the price now. And while I get it, the future is for long-term people, and we need to have a long-term view of things too. Yeah, that would be my take. That doesn't mean that the treasury should pull back and not invest, and not develop and just freeze. That, of course, is not anywhere near what we're suggesting, just that it should be responsible. Responsible is the word.
Right. We are coming at the top of an hour, you guys, and I think we've been talking about the 9 realms, treasury, and all those funds. I think we're doing pretty good on that front. I just want to remind, I did not say in the beginning, you guys, this space, this live stream, everything we talk about is never investment advice. Okay, it's informational and educational purposes only. Chad, I'm wondering if we should transition. I know we have a lot of topics we want to get into. Maybe I'll kick it to you. Router V6. Maybe I'll hand it to you from there, good sir.
Yeah, Router V6 is something we've been working on for quite a while, probably longer than I would have liked, to be honest with you. Would have liked to get this thing delivered earlier, but was finally getting out there. We just, I think we're just about finishing testing on StageNet. I think we're getting a little bit of feedback from the swap kit team to test it on StageNet and find any more bugs that they can find, and we'll be rolling it out probably starting in 2 weeks, just to give the wallets and what integrators time to know that this is coming, and we're gonna have a new system, and we're gonna be posting some information to the community soon about that kind of transition from router V5 to router V6. I'm hoping that we'll get this thing fully rolled out to all the chains over the next maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like this. And we'll be rolling it out like one chain at a time, starting with the lowest market cap, EVM chain, which I think is base chain from memory. And then we'll go to base chain and the next chain and then AVAX and whatever. And then Ethereum will probably be the last one, because that's obviously the most highest risk. And so we want to put things in mainnet kind of slowly over time to have a slow and steady, controlled kind of rollout of that. But that's one of the things that we're kind of actively working on to roll out to the community, is that V6 up the router.
Perfect, guys. You heard it here. And yeah, that makes total logical sense. Really excited to see how that transpires. I know people have been really asking me about that. So there you go, guys. Alex, I wanted to kick it to you. I know you're a little limited on time. I want to make sure if you have any final thoughts or anything before you got to go, my friend. Alex, you're muted, my friend.
Thank you. No, it's all good. Happy to be here. I will definitely be joining more Thursdays with THORChain. I think I had one of those in I might have come up with that when we were in the TCY time. So it's good to see it's being carried on. But yeah, I will be joining more often. I'll also be in that THORChain Discord, whatever you guys need. And happy with this new chapter and collaborating with somebody like Chad and all of the teams involved. So yeah, thanks for having me. It was great. And by the way, somebody wrote me that's listening. A good thing for the previous point that we were mentioning about maybe hiring 1 or 2 more devs. 9 women can't make a baby in 1 month, which I think is a great saying. It's there's some things that just need time. They can't be accelerated. We're gonna go fast, but we're gonna go at the right pace. Not faster, not slower, at the right pace. But anyway, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, and
Have a wonderful rest of your day, and catch you next week.
We are shipping, right? Yeah, have a good one, Alex.
Take care, brother.
We are shipping.
See you guys.
Right, so it's not like we're falling behind or anything like this or whatever. We have, I think I just mentioned 70 MRs in the current release, and I don't expect that to change significantly. Some for sure, but not significantly from after 9 realms parts from the protocol. But we're doing great, to be honest with you. It doesn't mean we can't improve. Doesn't mean we can't do better. Doesn't mean we're not necessarily hiring whatever. But there's not a strong need for it in this particular moment, to be honest.
Yeah, I hope you didn't take it as me saying you guys aren't getting anything done. It was more just can more be done? Is there more room to do it? And Aaluxx's explanation is actually perfect. I mean, it makes total sense. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if anything, sometimes adding more people makes things slower.
Yes.
This, you shouldn't talk smack about people, but this is why to let Reggie go, because we're behind because of him, and so now I got to catch up, and it just set us back. So there's that risk to it too, right? So it's not just simple as just adding a human. All of a sudden, everything is going better. So,
and it sounds like the replacement is doing a fantastic job. So right?
He's doing okay. This boss is a bit of a hard ass, but yeah. So forgive me, I might have missed, maybe I didn't heard, but Alex said is the treasury adding some Solana to the pool? Is that, did you say that?
I think it's happening today or tomorrow, about another 50, 60K being added to the Solana pool. And then we'll probably add more in a week or 2 or whatever it is, just to kind of slowly roll out the Solana pool. And then after that point, I kind of want to investigate stables, because I always like adding stables to THORChain. It's another source of information for the Tor kind of algo there. And then whenever we pause trading on Ethereum, for example, we lose a bunch of stables because we paused that chain and we don't have a lot left over. So if we have another chain we're adding where it has stables on it, like a Solana, I like to investigate, if there's more stables to be added to the protocol.
So a stable that keeps popping up in my mind is Ripple, RLUSD, and we would. I don't know. I don't know XRP that well, but I'd imagine we'd be one of the only dexes that has XRP and the stable coin.
Yeah,
and that's something we could promote to their community. And
Absolutely.
You found this earlier, Denny, they get the problem with sexes because XRP was delisted. And so I'm even if it's just 25 grand, just something to get it going. And so this is what I was hoping with Randy, that he can poke around these foundations and maybe get them to seed some of these pools for us.
Yeah. They got money too. They got money to burn.
Yeah.
Can I interject here, because I'm in touch with the XRP community quite a lot. That's the story I tell them all the time, Chad. I don't know if you remember this. I think it was 2022, it was a long time ago, but that's when the SEC cracked down on them, right, and said that there was security.
2021 actually.
2021. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you said at the time, if XRP was on THORChain, then they would not have to have worried about it, right? They would have had an alternative way to make it. And that's really impactful on them that, the core, co-founder of THORChain said that. So I have a pretty good relationship. In fact, Kenton, their XRP meetup is actually the same time I'm going to be in Las Vegas for the BTC conference. And I'm already planning on going on the 29th of April. So I'm going to,
nice.
So I will be in touch with them, and I'll do my best.
If you got some can you ask them if anyone has any ins with, because I know Ripple is the entity, right? It's separate from the blockchain.
Yes.
And so I'm assuming Ripple acts like the foundation, for the blockchain. So do any of these people have ins with Ripple, the entity, that could perhaps, give us a grant to fund this liquidity? I don't know. Can you poke around and ask? Because then we can
Yeah,
stick
of
Randy
course.
on them. We can get these names to Randy, and Randy can work his magic, and that's his job, is basically networking, right? And
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
basically.
he needs a place to start.
So for those who don't know, XRP is a really huge community. Like they have they have a whole different factions, right? They have like the institutional players. They've got the really cool DeFi players, and they're really cool, you guys. They have the same ethos. I'm telling you, don't talk smack on the XRPers. Those guys are awesome, and they believe in a multi-chain world and all the stuff, privacy, no KYC. Yes, I'll absolutely do that, Kenton. I'm going to do everything I can because they've been asking for that stablecoin RLUSD 100%. So yep, you can count on me to do that.
Yeah, because and forgive me if I'm wrong, Chad, but now that the XRP blockchain is there, adding RLUSD should be simple, right? It shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah,
to add
it should
as
just
a
be,
pool.
just add the pool, and
Yeah.
it won't be immediate. It has to go through a pool churn, which I think happens every 3 days. But as
Yeah.
long as the quantity it's not like I forget what the exact amount minimum requirement is off the top of my head. I think it's like 10,000 rune or
10,000 rune.
That's
Yes.
what I thought too.
something like
10,000 rune.
this. So it's not like a huge amount of money that you need to throw into it just to get the pool started, but just go ahead and get it started, and then get 25 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand in it.
So 10,000 rune plus the other asset. So it'd be
Yes.
say
4,000
well,
something.
$4,000 of rune, $4,000 RLUSD.
Yeah.
I mean, those people in your network, Denny, all those guys, I mean, if they can't scrounge together 8 grand of RLUSD between them, stop talking to them.
They're not worth your time, man. Those losers.
I mean, even like $100 each or something. But yeah, well, I guess the issue is there's no yield going to the pool, so it's hard to sell them on it. So
Yeah, I think it's more like at this point it's more of a strategy from the ecosystem's perspective rather than a strategy as an individual perspective, right? And so it's the same thing with THORChain, like in terms of like our treasury, like we invested what was 100K, whatever it was, into the XRP pool. We didn't do it for the yield necessarily. We did it because it was valuable to the ecosystem as a whole to add this chain and get access to XRP and all that kind of stuff. So it has to come from the same kind of mentality.
Yeah.
At least for the time being.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll do my best, my guys. Really cool people over there. I still have a lot more people to meet. It was huge. It's such a big community, much bigger than ours. So, finding the winners is difficult. Okay, so we had the Solana rollout, Chad. A next topic, Zcash. Maybe you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, Zcash will be the next one after Solana. It's right now it's being tested on the chainnet kind of StageNet infrastructure. We're working on getting the infrastructure like Helm chart stuff merged. The code's already merged. It's being tested. I think we'll be able to get this done probably in late April, maybe May. We'll be able to do like a mainnet launch for Zcash and get that kind of rolling out. So that's gonna be the next chain added, and I think that's gonna be a big one. Because if you look at Near's like volume, a huge chunk of it, a surprisingly large chunk, to be honest with you, it comes from Zcash. I don't know if you can share the chart or whatever. I'll put it in the chat here. Put it in the chat there. If you want to bring it up on the screen, Denny, you can. But I think last I looked, it was a huge chunk. It was Zcash. It's actually, for a while, Zcash was getting more volume on Near than Bitcoin was, and that was like for I don't know, like a month or two or whatever it was. And I was surprised that Zcash was getting that much volume on the exchange on Near. You can see right there in that donut graph. Most of it is USDT or USDC. That's like, what is that together? That's almost 70-80% of their volume is just the stables alone, and Bitcoin is at a 6.5% for their total trade volume. This is in the last 24 hours, by the way. And Zcash is only like 1%, less than 1% behind that. That's pretty surprising, if you ask me.
And those stables, like, I can't help but wonder if this is just all wash trading. They're just juicing up the metrics to show they got volume.
It could,
but it's the
it could be just like
going back and forth,
wash trading back and forth between,
Yeah,
I mean, it is unusual to me how much is stables, and those are just the two stables. Like there might be more stables, like in the smaller little cuts of the pie. It surprised me how much that is, and I wonder if, I don't know what's going on. I don't want to make accusations or assumptions, but it's unusual that it's like almost 80% is stables.
Yeah.
That's kind of unusual. First, if you look at THORChain, like the stables is, it's good, but it's nothing. It's not even 0.5%. It's not even 50%. I don't even think it's like 30%. But
well, I think it could be bigger because it would be bigger if we had bigger pools. I think because the stable pools are actually small relative to ETH
yes,
and Bitcoin.
you would get more arb traffic going back and
Yeah.
forth. Yeah. And that's like the pools are small there in large part because the market has pulled back significantly, right? Rune's at a 40 cents or 42 cents, whatever it is right now, which is obviously historically kind of low relative to the last few years. But the whole market has pulled back, in such significant ways. And so the pools get shorter just because of that reason alone. And obviously the inverse is true. Markets go more bullish, pools get deeper, more trade volume, so forth and so on.
Yeah. Going back to wash trading, it reminded me, I saw a joke Elon put on Twitter the other day. There's two economists going for a walk, and one of them sees a piece of shit on the ground, and the other guy says, "Oh, I'll give you $100 if you eat that shit." I was like, "All right, fine." So he eats it. He gets $100. They keep walking. They come by another pile of shit, and the guy who just ate it got the $100. He goes to the other guy, says, "Well, I'll give you $100 if you eat that pile of shit." And the guy's like, "All right, sure, deal." So he eats it.
These
And
are
they're
some weird
like,
people, by the way.
yeah, and they're like, they don't end up anymore. No one has any more or less money, but they both ate, two piles of shit, but the economy is growing by $200. And it's like, it's, that's
and they could have
trading.
just eaten their own shit and saved some
Yeah,
money.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Their body naturally produces it anyway.
Yeah.
You didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah. So anyway, I always question it. Like that's same with Binance. I mean, apparently CZ,
washing trading is totally a thing, right?
Yeah.
Especially centralized exchanges is even more true than decentralized exchanges.
It's a reason why it's illegal. There's like laws around it, right? Because it can be paints a really different picture from reality and can really screw people.
Yeah.
But I've never gotten that vibe from THORChain, and I always felt like I don't think there's any wash trading. I think it's all real.
Well, who would do it if somebody was doing it other than the Treasury? The Treasury has no interest in wasting money in that way.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Because you're still going to pay the fees when you do the wash. Like if you were trading just between stables on THORChain, you're still going to pay whatever the fees are, right?
Yeah.
And like, is it really worth the money? No, it's not worth the money. I'd rather just spend the money and like actually get the volume by like doing something that would bring more volume to us rather than just like blowing through the Treasury's funds. That would be just so silly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's why I question the stable volume on Near, because I'm pretty sure there's no fees, that it's all going back and forth without fees.
Well, I don't know what it is anymore because they've made statements that they're going to change it. I don't know what's going on there, and part of me doesn't really even give a shit, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They're doing their thing. They can do whatever they want. We have our strategy. We know what our roadmap looks like. We know how to achieve. So we're gonna just keep moving forward.
We chatted about this yesterday, Chad, offline, but I'll say it again to the audience. Like the THORChain community often looks at Near as like our competition, and like they are in a sense. But it's like, even if they didn't exist and we had all of their volume, the room price would probably still be pretty much the same. Maybe it'd be up 50% or something. Like THORChain wouldn't be marginally different than what it is today. Like our real competition is Coinbase and Binance, the centralized exchanges. That's 99.9% of the volume is all there. Those are our competition. That's what we got to go after. And it's just, Near is just kind of like, they're the first guys kind of taking some volume away, but it's like, it's like a sports match. You're never always leading the score all of the time. There's always some give and take. And we could have easily lost some volume to centralized exchanges if Near didn't exist. So it's really,
But that's why we have to build kind of like feature parity with, a Binance or a Kraken or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why we wanted to add, limit swaps, for example, to get that kind of feature parity. It's why we want to build like a pro interface to THORChain's trading, right? Like you have a pro interface on, Kraken and Coinbase or whatever, and get that at least that feature parity, and then at least you become more, a stronger competitor in that
Yeah.
sense. And so that's one of the, I was just mentioning one of our goals or one of our roadmaps is in that kind of direction, which is why I want to do limit swaps, is why I want to do these pro interfaces, which is why we have the app layer to help us achieve some futures, and kind of more advanced trading methodologies and leverage and the things you tend to get that are so popular on these sexes. So
Yep.
that is the direction I think I would like to see the protocol head towards and become more competitive with a Coinbase or a Binance without you needing to send a picture of your passport, and all that kind of stuff. To this day, like I got kicked off of Coinbase personally, right? Like I this is a true story. I used to trade on Coinbase years ago. And then all of a sudden they said like, well, we don't want to service you anymore. You have to answer all these questions. And they gave me like a list of questions, and I was reading through them like, dude, this is fucking crazy. Like I can't even remember. I can't give him a good example. I have to go back to my emails and find it. But the questions they were asking were so freaking like up in my shit that I'm like, I don't even want to deal with this. Like, I'm not going to answer your questions. And then like 6 months later, they like turned off my account because I refused to answer their silly fucking questions about. And I went to a different exchange for that reason. It's ridiculous. It's absurd.
It's insane. We're literally at the point we have to prove our innocence, right? And it's just, it doesn't end. And like, it's so bad. It's so onerous. And like, man, it's just when you're used to crypto and then you have to go use TradFi, it's like, oh my God, it is, we can't win soon enough. And it's like, kind of, we're all deep in the weeds in crypto. So like, I think for me anyway, I'm assuming you guys too, like, it's just obvious this is the new technology. Like this is the way the world is going. And it's just a matter of time for everyone else to figure it out.
Well, they want to be
finance
able to
moves slowly.
Yes, they want us to. They want a KYC, know everything about us, be able to audit us, but we can't audit them, right? And it's just no, we're done, right?
Well, and there's been, even by like traditional, like I want to say like maybe like KPMG or like some big auditor or something like that. But they say like more money is spent on compliance and AML than is actually caught. Like it's like a net negative for society.
Right.
And, we're not actually, the vast majority of it still gets away, still isn't caught, whatever. And then, it's kind of like no different like gun laws. Like it's just the honest people that get hurt, right? And, the criminals still find ways to get around it, but the honest people get hamstrung. And then, we're excluded from the financial system. Chad can't have a Coinbase account, right? He can't buy any Bitcoin. He can't, so like it's.
But they can wash trade up the fucking wazoo.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Get out of town.
They can have bank tellers with the glass window. This is a perfect size for a briefcase to fit through with full of $100 bills. Like that's okay. But I come to the bank with $500 to deposit in my account. Like, where'd you get this money? So
and you can look at Binance and CZ. Like they got found guilty of massive amount of let's just call it illegal activity. And CZ was, got found guilty and was going to jail. And then something happened with Trump and he got a pardon somehow. I presume money was involved, but I don't know that for a fact. And like the whole system is just like corrupt from the ground up. It's just like, like you can be found guilty of the worst things and you're still fine. Like nothing happens to you.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my God. Like
we are ruled by criminals.
It's absurd, that's why.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was Andreas Antonopoulos had some good stuff on it in the early days about it.
Yeah.
Like it's these, like JP Morgan, HSBC, you're always every year or two getting fined for something. It's just, it's just a speeding ticket.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can drive 150 miles an hour on the road. That's fine. You just, every now and then you're going to get caught and pay a $500 ticket. Like it's the same with money laundering and whatever. They'll just keep doing it. Okay, they get caught, they'll pay the fine. Just start doing it.
Yeah, and nobody goes to jail because you have to prove intent, and like good luck trying to prove intent. That's a very hard thing to do. I remember I looked it up out of curiosity a few years ago, out of like how much money has your JP Morgans, your Bank of Americas, your this, your that, whatever, how much money have they paid to the government in fees or like in like, in settlements or whatever? And I looked around and I was like, oh my God, it's like almost the market cap of Ethereum. It
Oh,
was
wow.
like, it was so much money. I didn't look at America, I look at like across the world as well. But I was just like, it's so much money they've paid out in the time that they were caught, right? And the times that they like settled or whatever, they paid out so much money. There was like almost the entire market cap of Ethereum. And then you also have people like Jamie Dimon saying like, oh, Bitcoin's for criminals. I'm like, dude, dude, what the heck? Are you for real right now?
Yeah.
So ludicrous.
And
Yep.
then it begs the question, well, the government's getting, hundreds of billions of dollars out of these fines. Do they want the gravy train to end? Because
No,
that's
of course not.
another, right? They want that money coming in,
They want that
right?
money
And
coming.
it's
And here's the crown jewel of it all. This is what really ignites me as a person on this thing. Is that okay? Wells Fargo gets caught opening up checking accounts for people without their knowledge or awareness, right? Totally illegal. Shouldn't be doing it, right? They get caught, they pay a fine. Do they pay the people they harmed in the process? No! They pay the government the money that you lost in this fucking scam. You don't get the money back that they scammed you out of. It gives it to the fucking SEC and they spend it on more lawyers to find more money to just... It's so fucked. Like, how can you just be like, okay, this bank just fucking raped 100 million people out of like $5 billion. Let's just give it to the fucking government and to the people that were actually harmed by that fucking organization or corporation. Get the fuck out of town. It ignites me as a person. It's the most ludicrous idea that we're for, law and order here, except we don't want to protect the people. We want to protect our personal wallets and make as much money as we can. Oh my God, get out of town with that shit.
How do you really feel, Chad?
Oh, it fucking pisses me off. It's so corrupt. I mean,
Yes.
come on. You cannot be saying, I've heard, Gensler and all sorts of SEC people, we're here to protect the American investor. No, you're not. You're looking for opportunities to make money for yourselves. You don't protect the investor. You protect your own wallets. It's just not the case. Get out of town.
Yeah.
100%.
This is why we THORChain.
This is why we need THORChain. This is why we love transparency, right?
Yeah.
Open source code, open ledger. Anybody can see all the transactions, and if there's no opportunity to be like conniving, well, no opportunity, but it's extremely hard to be conniving because everything's in freaking clear text,
And guys, if you're out there listening to this and you believe in the ethos that Chad just said, remember swap.thorchain.org, swap.thorchain.org. Try it out, you guys. It's all there for you. No KYC, permissionless, decentralized, layer 1 swap, swap.thorchain.org. Join the team that's actually trying to fix the world. Don't use TradFi. There you go.
Don't use the TradFi.
There's your clip right there, boys. Gosh dang it, I love you guys. So guys, we do have a couple more topics here. Let me go here. I'm going to your list, Chad. I want to make sure. So, oh yes, memoless outbound next week. Do you want to break that down a little bit, good sir?
Yes, this has been merged on mainnet for I don't know how many months, and it's kind of got like fell off the back burner or something like this. But it's been running on StageNet for quite a long time, so I presume that it's been vetted pretty hardly actually. So hopefully they'll flip that on mainnet next week. I'm hoping, which is it's not an exciting feature. It just means that like when we send outbound transactions, we don't use the memo field anymore. And that's really nice because it just saves on gas and it gives a little anonymity a little bit, harder to track where the money's coming from or whatever, because it's not associated with a particular transaction hash and all these kind of things. Eventually we'll be getting rid of like memos entirely. Like we have memos, we have memoless inbound, which is what we launched, and swap.thorchain.org has been using that for a while to do inbound memoless. Now we have outbound memoless being kind of removed. And then the last one to do is like internal memoless. So like that's like UTXO consolidations, churns, cancellations of transactions of like on Ethereum, for example, a bunch of like small little things internal just to be a little more efficient on our gas and how we interact with the chains.
Perfect. Nice. Awesome. Nice and concise answer there. I love it. Let's see here. Okay. ADR 23. that was by Boone. It has passed. So maybe you want to give a break up down of how that's going to work now that it has reached consensus?
Yes. So ADR 23 is largely about just burning a bunch of the runes. I think this whole thing started on this Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. It started from a conversation I think me and Kenton were having weeks ago or months ago, whatever it was. And it's just about burning a bunch of the rune that's in the treasury from whatever it is now, which is probably like 75, 76 million, whatever it is. I forget what's the number off the top of my head of what it being burned down to. I think it's leaving. Is it 8 million or 9 million? I can't remember
9
the
million,
number.
something. I can't remember.
Something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that. So we got passed, and then I just opened up a GitLab issue and assigned it to Huginn, which is I find that hilarious. And so Huginn's going to be working on that real soon. And then myself and others
So cool.
will review that code and get it merged, and hopefully we can get into 317 to make that burn happen.
And
Cool.
I'd like to just say, this was an ADR, we've been talking about it, right? But this is a bond provider, not a node operator, a bond provider. He wrote this ADR process, and it has reached consensus on the network, guys. So this is just a reminder, you don't need to be a node operator to have an interesting change and affect the network, right? So
Yep.
I just encourage more community activity, more community engagement. So shout out to Boone, good job, and great answer. Kenton, were you going to say something? I hope I didn't cut you off.
I'll just going to expand a bit in case someone was listening isn't quite aware of what the ADR was, but the 75 million odd rune in the reserve, and which makes the total supply like 425 million, and the max supply right now is 500 million. And so the point of the ADR was to burn some of the reserve because we're technically not using it, and reduce the max supply and get the total supply and max supply down to 360 million. So it basically just tightens up the token structure so that the fully diluted value is basically equal to the market cap.
Yep.
And so that when THORChain shows up when analysts people are researching different protocols, that our FDV is much lower and looks more
Mhm.
attractive.
Mhm.
And I love this. This really tickles my OCD, and cleaning things up and making them organized. And I'm really looking forward to getting these metrics on all these, like the Masaris and token terminals of the world. Getting these things going. So I feel very strongly that the next wave of money coming into crypto, generalist investors, these are the numbers they want to look at.
Mhm.
And it's better for us to have it's like kind of like your first impression. Once they see it, then they'll believe it. If they see the wrong number, then it's really hard to explain to them that it's actually different. So I think this will be good. And if worst comes to worst, we have to mint more rune, one day for some reason in the reserve, then so be it. We'll
Mhm.
cross that bridge when it happens.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I think
yeah.
once this actually gets merged and live, whatever, we'll probably also make another change to the reserve where we set the maximum supply of reserve to like, let's call it 9 million or some number, so that when the reserve makes a little bit more than 9 million, like 9,100,000 rune or whatever the number is, the 100 gets pulled into system income as part of the,
Yeah.
network system income. And then, so it'll like basically float. It won't like it'll be 9 million and a little bit below, a little low, like a little below, like it'll just kind of float around that number, very from block to block, and we'll just make a little bit of extra system income from that change as well.
We'll have to, won't we? Because if the total supply right now is 360 million, and then we reduce the max supply to 360, well, I guess we have the burn, but let's pretend the burn doesn't exist. Oh no, but it's the same tokens. So sorry guys, I'm my brain is a bit slow
Well,
catching
the
up.
burn's coming from the system income,
Yeah,
right? But we
but
have income.
sorry.
Go ahead.
If rune is going into the reserve, it's also coming out of the circulating supply. So
Correct.
the total supply isn't changing. It's just okay. That's sorry. Forgive me. Yeah, I'll
You're
stop
right. No,
talking.
you're right. No,
Yeah,
you're right. You're right.
yeah.
So we're taking rune out of supply and we put it into the reserve. And there's a handful of mechanisms of how we could rune into the reserve. I can't even remember what they all are off the top of my head, to be honest with you. I have to go look it up. But nothing's crazy, nothing significant. But that just, if we put it at 9 million now, we could come back X number of years, 100 years from now, and it'll be back at 75 million again, right? Theoretically, that would happen eventually at some point in time. I don't know how many years it would take, but at some point in time, that would probably be true. But by setting the max supply of the reserve to be at 9 million, that whatever it makes over the next 100 years is just going to be kind of absorbed by the LPs and node operators as income.
It's the 0.02 rune gas fee and the excess gas fees charged on Ethereum and Bitcoin. That's that extra little bit that goes into the reserve, right?
Yes, those are two of them. There's probably a couple more mechanisms in there somewhere that are kind of they're spread throughout the code base. I have to crawl into the code base and find out I forget off the top of my head where it all is, but it is making, approximately 5% of the system income we're making now is the reserve is making, so we would increase the system income by about 5%ish when we make this change.
This I go back and forth. Someone said something that confused me, and now I'm not remembering. The slashes from poor performance on nodes. Does that get reallocated to other nodes, or does some of that go to the reserve?
So when you get a slash, your rune doesn't get touched. It just adds more slash points associated to your node, and then that just influences how much out of the bond module, which is separate from the reserve, you get for income.
Right. So if I'm a node operator and a lot of my daemons go down and I'm getting slashed to hell, all the rewards I would have gotten from my performance, assuming I had done good, that gets redistributed to other node operators, or does that go to the reserve?
I would say it's probably most accurate to say that it gets redistributed over time to other node operators.
Okay.
Because when we do the churn, we calculate how much rewards should each node get, and we minus slash points, as part of the calculation. So you may have been originally you were getting like 1,000 rune, some quantity of rune, right? But you're actually going to get like 900 rune in this scenario. So the 100 just kind of stays in the module behind in the background there.
Right.
Oh.
Okay.
And so then when next time I think I have to go through and look again to convince myself of how that works again, because I haven't looked at that code in probably 4 years.
Yeah,
but
I haven't thought about it in a while myself. Yeah, that's
it's
why
been
I'm
a while.
doing myself.
Yeah.
How did that work again?
I'm going back into the archives over here to remember this, which I could be misremembering too. Maybe I'll do it this weekend or something, just to kind of refresh the memory.
Yeah, well, it just shows you how complicated THORChain is. Well, it's not. It's just so big, right? And there's so many little nuances to remember. And people like us were like, "Wait a minute, is that how it works?"
Yeah, imagine just designing it all.
Oh my god, I could not. No, dude.
Imagine being tasked to architect all of these behaviors, everything from how we manage gas to how nodes churn in and churn out, and how you get churned out. It was a. I did not know at the time how gargantuan it was going to be to design and architect this whole thing. But me and JP
now that you know, would you go back and do it again?
No, I would not have done it. To be honest with you. I would not have done it. I did not know when I first started to work on this project how complicated this was going to be and how difficult it was going to be, and that difficultness became more clear over time. As it was kind of like a little bit of a drip rather than like a flash of lightning in my brain. I realized that this is actually really complicated. This is why nobody else has solved this problem yet. 'Cause it's actually really fucking hard to solve this problem. This is why it's been a holy grail in crypto for 3 years at that point that I started working on this issue. 4 years when, so no, longer than that. 7 years, I guess, or something like that, whatever the number is. I think Shapeshift started in 2013, and that was the core problem that they were trying to solve. And we didn't really start building this in 2019. So that's a long time, right?
Well, Chad, there's a really famous, sorry to interrupt you. There's a famous, I call it famous, soundbite that you've said multiple times. And that is, you talked to a builder. I don't think you disclosed who that was. And you asked him, why aren't you doing native Bitcoin swaps? And he said, well, it's really hard. And then you said, well,
yeah, I remember.
But it needs to happen, right? But looking back, you're like, gosh dang, I wasn't sure I was ready to chew on all that, but you did it. You know what I mean?
I do remember that was. I'm not sure if I should dox who that was at the time, but it was on Clubhouse. I think it was called Was that Clubhouse? That was the name of that. The Twitter Spaces before I was on Twitter, I think it was called Clubhouse, if I remember correctly. This is 2021 days, right? And I was on some Clubhouse, and one of the speakers was a founder of a very popular protocol on Ethereum at that time, and it still is very popular. One of the OG rock solid things, like the Uniswap level, And that person was on there, and I went up on the stage to kind of ask the question, like, "Have you guys thought about doing cross chain?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, we thought about it." I was like, "Well, why aren't you?" And he says, like, "Well, it's a really hard problem," and I don't. I was like, "Yep, yeah, it is. I know that." Because like even at the time, I think when he was talking about it, he was like, "Oh, well, maybe we just do like EVM to EVM because that's a lot easier to do." And I was like, "Why don't you just do like Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin's Bitcoin. I mean, come on, like it's Bitcoin, right?" And he's like, "Oh, that's really like too hard of a problem." I'm like, well, I get what you're saying, but it is needed. You can't just like omit the most important asset of the entire crypto industry and be like, whatever. You kind of have to include it, for obvious reasons. That was
The
a really
reason
funny
why,
conversation.
the reason why I asked you is just I wanted people to understand that it's not anyone could have built this protocol. It only took the most determined individuals that understood that, and that's why THORChain and my protocol, we stand apart because
Yeah.
we tackled the hardest question. I do have some community questions. I know we're coming on 2 hours here, not many.
Sure.
And Kenton, my question might trigger you, so you might want to go get little earmuffs, okay? But just remember, it's all about swap volume, okay? So this person wants to know, hey, what are the odds that THORChain would create a pool for XAUT or PAXG, which is a gold derivative? Gold's been on the high demand, great way to pack up some extra volume. They're both ERC20 coins. Would that be something that we could add to THORChain? So
Why would I be bothered by that question?
because you don't like LARPing derivatives for gold and silver. But hey, you're
Well, I mean, it's no different than wrap Bitcoin, right?
Yes. I was playing with you, buddy.
Wrap gold effectively.
Yeah. We're an exchange. From THORChain's point of view, I don't care what you trade, just trade it on THORChain.
That's right.
And, right. So
Same here.
yeah.
And those coins could be added. I think I presume they're already part of the whitelist on ERC, or on accepted ERC20s. We do have a whitelist that we ban specific or we have a whitelist, so we whitelist specific coins that can be added. I don't think we even maintain that list. It's really like a rip we took from like 1inch, and we do that largely because we don't want people putting up, fake Uniswap, tokens or fake Ethereum tokens on our exchange, and people kind of get rugged in that kind of way. We don't like people getting rugged for obvious reasons. We do the best we can to stop that to happen. And so, yeah, if somebody wants to add that pool, go right ahead. Like you can, there's nothing really, I don't think there's anything stopping you from adding that pool if you really want to. Would the treasury do it? It's probably not worth the treasury's money, as a net benefit to the society, to the ecosystem of THORChain. But if any individuals out there who are big, giant, PAX Gold, fans or whatever, have at it.
There you go.
I talked to Randy a bit about this. I gave him a list of 30 tokens. They're like on Ethereum, Solana, Base, whatever. And they're like the top 100 by market cap, top 100 by volume. And I asked them, like, could you maybe reach out, see if we can get some kind of grant or something where they can seed a pool? Because for the person asked the question, Denny, like I totally agree. Like I personally would love to see all these different pools. But just where do we get the money? Where does it come from? And if we can get these foundations to do a grant, then great. The other thing I was thinking of, I keep bringing it up, is that my mind is stuck on, why are we having the POL just kind of stay fixed? Why don't we use it, rearrange it a bit, and we can maybe use some of it to use the POL to seed some of these new pools. Like for example, the Bitcoin pool doesn't have to be that big, that deep. It's pretty darn efficient. Like, I mean, we all celebrate a $32 million trade, but we're not doing them every day. And like, to be frank, there's nowhere else to do it even close. So like, if the Bitcoin pool is slightly smaller, we're still gonna be able to do $32 million trades, no problem.
Yeah, the funny thing is that if in theory, when Rapid Swaps is fully swinging, which was just enabled today, and it'll take wallets have to use the feature. It has to, like, it doesn't just every trade just becomes Rapid Swaps, but that'll happen over the coming weeks. I'm hoping, but like if we were to half the size of the pool and then enable Rapid Swaps with just 2 Rapid Swaps per block, then that would effectively cancel out that in some sense. So that $32 million trade you're talking about took about 12 hours to execute on THORChain. And so we can take out half the liquidity and then enable rapid swaps, and then it would be the same, 12
Fascinating.
hours to execute the same trade,
Yeah.
so the rapid swaps is in itself kind of creating more efficiency in that kind of way, meaning that you could do a smaller pool and get just as fast performance as a larger pool because of the rapid swaps, functionality. To your point, Kenton.
Damn. That's pretty bullish.
Mhm.
Someone, Coke did ask a pretty interesting question. There's another one from Soda, but and I don't really understand it fully, but it says PAXG, they have a fee, a transaction fee. Does that affect an integration on THORChain, really? Is this something that we can calculate? I guess this is just like an additional fee on the ERC-20? I'm not sure.
That's a good question.
Oh, is it like this is like an annual fee? Like when you hold the token, it's losing value on yourself, or
Have a transaction fee, so I'm assuming the moment
well,
you swap
all
for
tokens
each
have
trade, for
transaction
each
They have
trade.
they have gas fees, which is the Ethereum gas fees, but I'm assuming he's referring to that
For each
there's a transactional fee as well, including
Yes.
a gas fee on top of that. I don't know how THORChain would handle that, to be honest with you, off the top of my mind. I'd have to look more deeply at it to know, but what's most likely to happen, I presume, is that we would send a transaction to send you like 10 PAXG tokens or whatever the hell the acronym is. And instead of you receiving 10, you receive 10 minus 0.02%. Which might be a problem from an observational perspective. Like the network might
Right.
say, like, we signed 10, but we actually sent out 9.8 or whatever it is, right? And then we might slash ourselves because we signed a transaction at a different amount than what we intended to, which the network would interpret that as like, this is an unauthorized transaction because it's not the exact transaction that we wanted to happen. So it actually might even trigger like a slashing event, to be honest with
Wow.
you.
Wow. Okay, so maybe there's some issues with that particular asset. Good question, Coke. Thank you for doing that. Let's see.
I
He's added a
I,
lot
I
of
have a
alts launch with 5% traction fee in bear market. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I
I
don't know if
have
we have
a
any current, or we do when we already handle it appropriately. That's also possible.
Okay. There's another question here. This is a relative to the transaction fee, the gas fee on Rune. It says, it's historically been 0.2 cents. Could we, instead of do 0.02 Rune, could we do relative to a stablecoin? So just like make it 10 cents or 8 cents instead of just 0.02. So it's always 8 cents, 10 cents instead of just, whatever the value of Rune is.
Yeah, we could do that. I think I remember us actually doing it like a couple of years ago, and I don't remember if it was actually deployed or got delayed or
I remember
I'd have to
talking
look.
about it.
I thought it was going to be fixed at 20 cents. I thought that's what it
It
was.
may already be done, to be honest with you. I can't even
No,
remember
I
off the top
don't.
of my
It's still
head.
0.02.
But yes, we can use Tor to effectively figure out how much room we need in this particular transaction to charge 20 cents.
Yeah.
The only thing is, man, it's so nice having a fixed gas fee, so you don't have all this dust sitting in wallets.
That is true.
It's so nice. Yeah, but I
What
get
if
it.
Okay, yeah, I gotta think about it more. Okay, yeah, good question, guys. Let me see. I thought I had one more. Oh shoot, I lost my thingy. People
I got
DM me.
another question.
Go
Maybe while
ahead.
you're looking there, Denny. Chad, you mentioned with rapid swaps that the wallets have to turn it on. So is this
Yeah.
like a brand new type of swap? Like, is it? I thought this all happened in the background. It's all
Well,
automatic.
I could have done it implemented in that kind of way, but I chose not to. The reason why is because you should be able to say I want to use rapid swaps, and also I do not want to use rapid swaps. So you should have the choice to do either. So it's not really a new swap necessarily. It's just like the memo that you use to to tell the network what your intent is. One of the little attributes you can put into that is the interval. And the interval is like how fast do you want your sub swaps to go in a streaming swap, right? Do you want like one every block, one every 2 blocks, one every 5 blocks, or you could do like one every like 10,000 blocks if you want to do like kind of like a DCA kind of like thing, right? And so rapid swaps uses the 0 mark. So if you want to use rapid swaps, you set the interval to equal to 0, and then it'll swap it as fast as humanly possible that the network can withstand, more or less. And if you set your interval to 1, you're going to do 1 sub swap per block. So you're not going to use a rapid swaps feature at all in that scenario. So for the swap.thorchain.org, we would just need to change that 1 character from a 1 to a 0, and you're good.
Well, so sorry, I'm a bit confused. So like on a streaming swap, if we set the interval to 0,
Mhm.
then the protocol will decide how to break the swap up into increments, so you only
That's
experience
quantity.
5.
That's a different attribute.
That's a quantity. Okay.
Quantity is it's like I'm giving you 1,000 rune. Quantity tells the network how many sub swaps you want to make, and 0 is basically like a wild card notion of like, give me the maximum number of sub swaps that the protocol will allow, whatever that number is, right? I mean, it's for 1,000 rune. Let's just say it's 10 swaps in that scenario, right? So you could say 10 in the quantity. You could say 5, but you could not say 20. Right? The network wouldn't allow it, and it would just reject the trade entirely. So most 99% of the time, people just put 0, because just means give me the fastest, the best execution, like the best price, and they'll pay the least in fees, the most amount of sub swaps. That's quantity. Interval is how often we want those sub swaps to be traded. And so 1 is every block, 2 is every 2 blocks, 3 is every 3 blocks, and 0 now represents rapid swaps of like as many trades as possible, as fast as possible. Just execute this trade, as quickly as possible, and then the quantity will give you like the most amount of sub swaps possible. Does that make sense?
I think so. So because before, the 0 on the interval was like a market order, like sell as fast as possible. And so it is still the same. Sell as fast as possible, but now we have rapid swaps.
Yeah, I think like I don't know. I can't remember what the behavior was before. I think 0 would have been an invalid, or it's another invalid and would have done a refund, or maybe it would have just defaulted to 1, right? Because a 1 would be a market swap, and like that would be as fast as possible, right?
Well, I
Just like,
thought 1 is 1 block.
yeah, 1 is 1 block, but if you did like 1 quantity and 1 block, it would be a non-streaming swap. It would just be trade everything right now in a single block. That would
Yeah.
be like a market swap as fast as possible, no sub swaps, everything in a single block, like THORChain OG days, like 2021 days,
Yeah.
right? And so I think I off of memory, I don't think 0 made any sense for intervals before the rapid swaps implementation, but I could be mistaken.
And the reason I'm asking these, because I'm trying to hash this out on STO,
Yeah,
and I
right ahead.
can't. I'm getting it wrong. And same with the Unstoppable guys. Like we're going to the docs and we're like, we get something wrong here. So okay, I thought quantity 1 interval. You said quantity 1 interval 1 is like old school. Just sell it right away.
Yep.
I thought if we set the interval to 0, that defaulted the trade to the old way, to the just sell everything.
Nope.
Okay, it's 1 and 1.
1 and
Okay.
1, and I think using 0 as an interval before rapid swaps, I think was an invalid request, because you're telling the protocol, like, interval is like, how often do you want to make your stream? If your 0 is like 0 means nothing before rapid swaps, or it's like, because the fastest you could do is 1 every
Yeah.
block rather. So
Yeah.
1 would be the smallest number possible before rapid swaps. To ask for something 0 would have been nonsensical from the network's perspective, because it only has, it only can do 1 every block, right? It can't do more than 1 trade every block. But now with
Okay.
rapid swaps, you can do multiple trades in a single block,
Okay, so we can still do quantity 1, interval 1 to have like that instant sell order.
Mhm.
Now, if we want to do rapid swaps, or basically as fast as we can, we want to set the interval to 0. Now, what if the quantity is 1 but interval is 0?
Then
What?
that would be the same as quantity 1 and interval 1.
Okay.
Because if the quantity is 1, you only got 1 trade to do.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
yeah,
really
yeah,
matter if it's happening like at
Yeah.
the beginning of the block or the middle of the block or the next. Like it's just going to execute the entire thing. So I think what's probably going to happen for something like for STO is you're going to do like interval 0 and quantity 0, just 0
Yeah.
0,
Yeah.
and that's just gonna
yeah.
that just tells the protocol like I want you to give to execute the best price execution possible as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is I think
Okay.
that's probably going to be the default for
Yes.
every UI out there in a short period of time. I would suspect.
That's why I want to try to make sure I understand it so that
Yeah.
we can display it properly. And like, I'm still in my mind, I'm like, maybe we should still give the person the ability to do 1 and 1, like that instant sell for
Yeah, if they
whatever
want.
reason.
Yeah.
But I got to just think about how to make warnings or explain it or whatever. Okay, this is really good. So for STO, for example, they'll just have to change the settings in the back end to enable rapid swaps, basically.
It's
We don't have to,
literally it would probably be a 1 character change on any UI out there.
Yeah.
Literally.
Okay. No, does it, that doesn't hard code it to rapid swaps. It's now giving that wallet the ability to do rapid swaps, telling it what 0 means.
Yep.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yep.
Perfect.
Unless you don't want to use rapid swaps, you can set it to 1, and that would be the same behavior as it was yesterday.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
So then why would somebody not want to do it? Why would
it's there, but like if I put it there for a couple of reasons, but the primary reason was that like if there was a problem with rapid swaps, like say SwapKit was using rapid swaps and they found something they didn't like about the behavior of it, they can just opt out, right? And say, I just want to do kind of the old behavior. It's just like, it's good to have an ability to opt in or out of any new behavior just so you can, revert back if you need to without us needing to like turn off rapid swaps entirely and default everybody back to, the older behavior, which we might do if there's if there's like a significant issue of some kind. But most likely that wouldn't be the case. At least I cross my fingers, hope to die. And it's up to each individual user interface or wallet or aggregator or whatever to decide what they want to do. My hope is it's like people like SwapKit and STO will adopt it hopefully this week or next week, and we'll start seeing testing the feature out with a lot of good volume. And my hope is that like once something like SwapKit uses it, all of a sudden the time it takes to do the actual streaming swap gets halved, right? And so the amount of time it takes to execute on THORChain becomes quicker, right? From a quoting perspective, at least. And that should give us more competition against your chain flips and your nears and whatever. And we'll probably win some more trades against our quote unquote competitors and get a little bit more volume relative to them.
Is this in the docs? How do I have to send like a PR to the Unstoppable, to the devs? Like how do I communicate to them that they gotta change the setting?
I would just tell them like just set the interval to default to 0. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Like I said, 1 character change. They're probably already defaulting to 1 right now, I presume.
Yeah.
If they're not already defaulting to 0, I presume they're to 1 right now. You can ask them.
I'm pretty sure it's 1. Yeah.
Yeah, and just tell them to change it to 0.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay.
Although it would be nice for STO to have the ability to do like DCA, right? That is a feature I want to work on in the nearest future. It's actually not hard to implement it from THORChain's perspective, but just having the option of being able to DCA, into or out of any particular asset. DCA means dollar cost averaging for anybody who doesn't know. And it's a fancy way of saying, I want to buy a little bit of Bitcoin, every day, or every week or something like this. I want to buy $100 of Bitcoin every month, right? And so you can just get like a bunch of USDC, throw it in your wallet, whatever, do a trade, like a little bit of USDC at a time over 6 months or 1 month or 3 months or 1 year or whatever. And so that would be a nice feature to have.
Can you, and the reason that you can't do now is because you have to set in a slippage tolerance. And so if the price gets away from you, your cancel will order.
Yes. Well, you wouldn't normally, like if you're DCAing, you wouldn't put a slippage tolerance in general, right? You're blindly just buying whenever the market's happening. It's an investment. strategy. So you just put it at 0. Like the target Bitcoin that I want is 0, and you just kind of buy a little bit every day, right? The problem with this, though, from a technical perspective, is that right now market swaps can't really be canceled, right? And so if you start like a 6-month process to buy a little bit of Bitcoin over the next 6 months, it's like once you set the order, like you're kind of screwed, and you're just going to be buying for the next 6 months no matter what happens. And that is obviously not a great user experience. You can do that for limit swaps, where you can like cancel a transaction, right? But you can't really do it on a market swap. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying months ago on this podcast, where I was saying that that we've had this organic kind of evolution of the swapping mechanisms of THORChain over the last, since 2020. So it's been like 6 years. And we've just added a little feature here and little like limit swaps and streaming swaps and this and this, and it's kind of had this kind of like organic kind of growth, but it really could use like a complete kind of refactor, so that so that we don't have different types of there's regular swaps and streaming swaps and limit swaps and DCA swaps and list swaps, and it just becomes like kind of like overbearing or confusing to the client or the customer or whatever. And just say like we just have swaps, and there's basically 2 attributes that you can control, right? Is like how fast you want to trade, and what is the price execution that you want to receive, and then that's more, and then a trade target as well. A third one, trade target, right? Which is basically a limit order gives you more or less. So it's like there's little kind of these 3 attributes control all of these different types of swaps, and so maybe it makes sense to like just kind of simplify and refactor so that's not so complicated, and then everything gets the same treatment too. So like you can cancel market swap, you can cancel a limit swap, you can cancel a streaming swap, you can cancel this swap, because it's all the same thing in the end.
Perfect. I do have 2 questions. One I think I can answer. That someone wants to know when the next update for THORChain is. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chad. I believe it's April 3rd from memory.
Yeah,
I'm not. April 3rd.
April 3rd. That's sorry. Let's be clear. April 3rd is when we're going to cut 317. So it's about 2 weeks away. We're going to cut it. We have to build the release. We have to notify our partners, like Binance, for example. They go through their like 2-week process, I think it is, and then we release it at that point, and then it gets adopted by the protocol.
There we go. And the next question is, this is a request from somebody actually on the Ruggiero side, and they were wondering, could THORChain.net be, gosh dang it, where did it go? I got it right here. Yes, here we go. They wanted to know if we can transform THORChain.net into a more user-friendly block explorer with maybe the help of AI and some other features. That was their
Maybe, sure. I mean, there's a dev that works on that. I'm not going to dox their name because they haven't given me permission to do so. But yeah, we have a dev that works on that particular, UI. Yeah. I was actually working on this myself for a while, and I got distracted with like THORChain work, but I had a fully functioning beta that would allow you to have like a ChatGPT like interface as a block explorer / code explorer / document explorer. And so it was a fully customized AI, that thing that you could talk to like in the browser. It was going to work in Discord and even Twitter or like Telegram or whatever. And you could interact with it and ask it any question you want about THORChain, or Bitcoin. It's going to work for multiple different blockchains. And you could ask like, what's the balance of this Thor address, right? Like how many runes in this Thor address, or what's the volume of THORChain over the last 7 days? And you could just ask arbitrary questions, and it would generate, answers to everything.
Yeah, it sounds helpful. Kenton, were you trying to say something?
I think it was, but I totally forget now.
Oh man. No, we've been talking a while.
Yeah. Jesus.
We're on 2 hours right now. It's been a great
He was
live stream.
he was asking me about THORChain.net when I.
Oh, that's sorry. You're right. I was gonna say in Discord, his handle is Hui Rin.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we're coming at 2 hours, you guys. I don't think I have any more questions. Thank you to everyone who submitted questions throughout the week and the ones who did new questions. Always appreciate the engagement, and I hope we're doing a good job answering them. We don't care. We'll answer anything you want. Full transparency as always. Chad, is there any? Well, okay. I know it's coming. This is me. This is selfish. Huginn? Huginn's still kicking butt? How's that going? I'm
Huginn
addicted.
is
I'm
kicking
sorry.
butt.
Okay.
Mostly it's been about just like correcting some weird behaviors around how it comments on PRs and that kind of thing. It's contributing a lot. I mean, it's getting better and better. And I think what was the next? I think again the next major thing is monitoring mainnet, but that's a huge amount of work that requires a lot of time and effort, which I do not have time for right in this
Right.
particular moment. But I do want to work with probably the Liquify guys to build some infrastructure that Huginn can pull from to generate time series called time series data, which is basically like kind of like just data graphs about every metric you can think about in THORChain's world. It could be block times, it could be swap volume, it could be I don't know, arbitrarily just tons of different data, and then do a mathematical analysis of that, and then generating events from that mathematical analysis, and then populating that into Discord, and then pulling that Discord stuff into Huginn. And Huginn can get those events, and then Huginn can analyze those blocks to find out anything unusual. But that's a huge amount of work that I do want to work on in the next quarter or so.
That does remind me of a question someone asked me. I forgot to ask it. I forgot to write it down. People want to know with all the transition. We could have talked. That's way good. It's my fault. What about THORSec? Are they still a thing, or is this okay? So THORSec is unchanged. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. So it's not the same team as we had in 2021, to be fair, but we still have a full-time security team. Right now, it's predominantly this an external firm called Soda Labs that we've been employed for. I don't know how long they've been, but I think it's been 2 years, 1 year. I don't remember how many years. It's probably 2 years. And so Soda Labs has been doing the role of that. They spend a lot of their time just responding to bug bounties. We just got a huge influx of them, largely because of Claude and there's the AIs that everybody's just kind of just submitting, forms all the time, which can be quite time consuming to look at them all and making sure they're valid or not valid or, whatever. They do have on the roadmap a couple more things I've been pushing them on. One is improving the invariance of the protocol. And an invariant is a sanity check, to use a kind of layman's terms. It's like, one example would be like the supply of runes shouldn't be above the max supply, which is like 500 million, right? If it gets above that number, then something's fundamentally broken if that happens, right? So there's like probably like a dozen, or I don't know how many there are off the top of my head. So there's more work to be done to improve those kind of sanity checks, those real-time alert systems that can automatically pause a chain or whatever when some invariant trips. That's one thing I have them kind of focusing on. And the other thing I'm focusing on is DKLS, which is kind of, we're far away from even working on it, let alone getting it deployed in mainnet. But they have the right team behind them to be able to implement DKLS in a way that's compatible with our necessary needs. And so that's something I want them to be delivering for the community at some point this year.
Perfect. There you go. Awesome. And oh shit, I forgot what I was gonna say now. Gosh dang it. I want to say to you, Chad, you got a lot of praise on the community that's been spreading the word about, Huginn and finding half of an exploit, right? Half of the equation. And
Yeah.
and that saved a lot of money from the bug bounty that we would have had to pay. So kudos to you. People wanted me to relay that to you. So good job. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
And after that, I don't think I got anything else. Kenton, can you think of anything else, good sir?
Actually, I was going to bring this back to Vegas and the meetup side event. If you guys are going, please come. Please RSVP. Let me know. I was just thinking about actually Liquify. If I remember correctly, Chad, Isaac told me he met you at a side event at a conference. You guys stayed in touch. Liquify started running some nodes. They started getting involved in THORChain and the community. That's how I found them. I met them. I run more nodes with them. Now they're taking over infrastructure. So, it's just, this is life. This is how it goes, right? You never know where a chance meeting and introduction to someone, what it can lead to. So, guys, if you're in Vegas, please come say hi. Let's meet each other. Let's hang out. Yeah.
I met Isaac. Go ahead.
Isaac's great. He's one thing I love about Isaac is he's just got like a really positive attitude, and he's like always down. I feel like I could throw anything at Isaac. Like Isaac, I want this done. Whatever, like this could be anything. And Isaac be like, yeah, I'm totally down to getting that done. Like he's such a positive attitude, and he's always just down to like contributing more to the protocol. Like whatever it is I need, he'd be like down to doing that. Which is, I just love the attitude of him. So like, yeah, absolutely. He's been around for quite a while, and he's been contributing, on and off in various ways, and it's been slowly kind of growing, and now it's even more so, as to your point you were just making. So yeah, I love that attitude, and anybody who come out to the Bitcoin conference, say hello to Kenton. I'm gonna try to make it myself. I'm not guaranteeing it right now. I need to make sure that like I have a daughter, and things that make it more complicated for me to travel. But I would love to go down, and I could meet some Thor chats out there, or some Thor chicks maybe too. Who knows?
We do have I think it's a female name, RSVP'd. So
Oh, is there? Okay, good.
won't just be all guys.
Positive.
Yeah.
Actually, my girlfriend, she's been joking about going to these events as like Lady Sif. I think she's kind of like, I think she's taken the name Sif as like kind of her own person, even though she's not really engaged in the community at this point in time, at least. But like, she wanted to come with me to Vegas, and maybe come into the Thor chat event.
Yeah. Awesome, for sure. So is Sif a Norse term or word?
It is. It's a Nordic term. I forget what it means exactly at the top of my head, but yes, absolutely. I think it's one of the warriors in Thor's guards or something like this. I don't know. I can look it up real quick, but
okay.
I looked at the genesis of the word Huginn, and I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was aptly decided by you, Chad. So very cool.
Yeah. I like that one too. Huginn. I think it's like it represents intelligence in the Nordic mythology, and that just made logical sense to me. Like, oh yeah, it's a good fit.
Perfect.
But then like if I build another one, wanted to call it Huginn and Munin, and Munin would be the ChatGPT OpenAI implementation of Huginn, and so have two bots running, concurrently with each other, and maybe even like having communications APIs to each of them, and so they can freely talk to each other and make phone calls to each other. Phone a friend, I guess, if you put it into like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire terminology, and they're like dealing with some problem, whatever. I'm a little stuck here. Hey friend, this is, and then like have a conversation across some sort of like API or whatever, so that they can like reference each other as like aids in their process. I thought it was really like a fascinating notion. I don't know if that's really going to work out in reality, but I thought it was really cool in concept.
Yeah. Speaking of BTC, the girls incumbent, I think it was 2 years ago. It was Ethereum. I think it was your sister that came, and she's really cool. If I'm not, was it your sister? Yeah, your sister's really cool too. So yeah,
my big sis. Yeah,
your big sis. Yeah, she's legit.
She's gotten big into crypto ever since I got into crypto. I think she started to get into it in 2020. I think it was, and she's been working in it for a few. She worked for a few different projects in the crypto land as a communications writer, editor, that kind of thing.
That's cool. Yeah, we need more Thor chadettes. That's what we need. So, yeah, if you know any girls, bring them in. It's a bit of a sausage fest around here.
Thor chadettes.
You know what I mean? It's what we need. It's what we need. And Coke says here on the thing, Vegas, Coke and chicks. Yeah, so as Kenton said, you guys, there will be hookers there, but they might not have any teeth. We are on a bit of a budget, okay?
Well, hey, some people might pay more for.
Hey.
That's why we got to get Aaluxx to bring him up from Mexico. They'll be that way, you know what I mean? Aaluxx, help us out, brother.
Perfect. Awesome. Oh, yeah. Well, thanks, Coke. Coke says I come with a dress. So the hooker will be Coke. Okay. It'll be Coke and it will be Coke. Okay. I'm just saying.
It'll be BYOH. Bring your own hooker.
Perfect. Okay, guys. You think we should wrap it there? What do you think?
I think so.
Yeah, I can wrap it there.
Okay, guys. Let me check the list here. So, what is it today? Is okay. This Saturday, guys, we're gonna have Peer, a no KYC fiat on ramp on and off ramp, excuse me. Really excited to talk to them. Always remember, guys, this is not financial advice. The views expressed here are solely of those of the hosts and guests. Any action taken based on this information is at your own risk. Past performance is not indicative of future results. You guys heard from the early in the conversation, 9 realms, a lot of BPs are going to be switching around. This might be a really great time, guys. If you're out there, if you want to be a node operator, there might be some free floating BPs. So please, if you want to be a node operator, reach out to @Runtard on X. He can help you get set up and find bond providers as well. And lastly, guys, for THORChain data and insights, follow Ray Analytics on X. He does a great job writing the recaps of these live streams too. So you guys can definitely look forward to that. With that being said, you guys, this has been a fantastic live stream. I had so much fun. Thank you to Aaluxx for coming out, and thank you guys for all the questions. This is great. Boys, you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.